Yeah, probably lots of top tips and lots of learnings over the years, to be fair. Um, Taking it back a step, we launched our business with more of a focus around trying to be a bit different. So myself and my three business partners worked together in a past life, and we set up 6.5 years ago. We wanted to create something which was a bit different, and for us that was having a grown-up culture, attracting experienced recruiters. But back then it was around a flexible working environment, which in the world of recruitment was really kind of quite different based on all the head offices and all the corporate overheads, I suppose, of those offices in 20-year leases, etc. So that was one of our key USPs, and ultimately, as we've kind of grown and developed, that has become less of a USP, as everyone else obviously has either chosen but more probably forced to do it in the last few years. So from our point of view, we have gone through that kind of journey of finding out quite who we are and what we want to be, and that is probably an evolution for us kind of over kind of a number of years. Being also kind of a perm-based business, I don't think we were alone in probably confidently forecasting revenue more than a few months in advance. We didn't have an interim kind of temporary aspect of our business. So as much as we might naturally gain exclusivity, does that actually mean sole agency? Does it mean exclusivity or competing against your internal talent teams, for example? So from a point of view of where we got then to becoming kind of focused a bit more on the retain side, we were hybrid. So your initial intro saying where we were coming from, absolutely correct. It was a very low percentage, probably 10-20% of our work was retained, and we've gone through that journey. But we ultimately had a bit of a realization at a board meeting where we did quite a deep dive on kind of where we were operating at and what we were focused on. And it was a real realization around the contingent work we were kind of transacting. And it just kind of breaks your heart when you realize across the business all the time and effort and energy which goes into contingent recruitment, where actually quite often you don't get the fee at the end because you might have been a multiple kind of agent or against internal talent teams, or the role gets put on hold, but you've got no cancellation fee and other things kind of happening. So from our point of view, we committed to investing in that kind of retained model and going on that journey a few years ago now. For us, lots of lessons learned. I just want to kind of set the scene there just so that I can maybe explain that kind of EHG kind of journey as such. From a point of view of like tips, I suppose, it goes back to I think what both Gray and Alex have said in regards to that investment, and that's investment of time and actually of money when it comes to looking at the kind of retained aspects of our offering. So for us, it is understanding there is going to be an investment and actually being quite brave around that investment, both in time and money. Before getting to that point, obviously a step back, communicating between co-founders, but the wider business, making sure everyone either is or can be on the same wavelength when it comes to that progression and where we're heading to. And once you start looking at kind of that background of where people have been transacting and kind of that contingent work, when we have had exclusive or retained work, it's quite obvious in lots of ways, right? Everyone would love to be 100% retained. And again, like Alex and Greg both said, it is hard to sometimes reinvent yourself. So it is on that side which we did invest. So tips, I suppose, is that investment around our website. So we're actually relaunching that in a few weeks. It's taken the last 12 months. That will be around our positioning and content and kind of those side of things for us. So on that basis as well, it's CRM systems. We were working with Bullhorn. It was very contingent. So it was really kind of looking out to the market. What technology is there to enable you as a search firm to actually transact and work the mandates efficiently and correctly? So we found a Salesforce platform called 720, which works for us. And being Salesforce, it's a lot more user-friendly, and can help us do all the aspects which we feel we need from the operational, I suppose, piece of search. But then linking them to search is that mindset. So again, we've kind of discussed that kind of already across kind of Gray and Alex, but that mindset is really hard to change once you're actually turning away business, maybe from clients you've known for years, actually decades for some of us. Everyone for us in our environment has between 15, 20 and plus years experience in recruitment and in search. But turning away business is tough. So it's that education, both with the client and internally, when it comes to talking around maybe what we can do now and what we are focused on going forwards, and having some, I suppose, areas where you can turn down business and walk away, whether it be salary level, whether it be fee percentage. Usually for us, it is around actually getting the terms of business signed and getting that financial commitment up front. If you're not getting me upfront financial commitment, the client probably isn't as committed to the search in the first place, and therefore you can't prioritize, I suppose, a search over something else as well. So in terms of business, again, it's an obvious one, but getting kind of all of that sorted as well. Most key though, again, we have covered it already, is that investment in training. For us, it really kind of did make sense to go out to the market and see what training was available. As much as between all of us, we had done search, we've been taught internally from past businesses or learnt ourselves kind of in a roundabout way. Actually, to be, I suppose, that outwardly facing search business who can deliver and have the respect of that external market, we felt we needed training. And I feel training is something sometimes salespeople thrive on. Some people dislike it. Some salespeople, recruiters, headhunters, think they know best. They've always done it in a certain way. They're kind of not always thinking they want to learn something new. But I feel that investment in training, once we found the right partner, has been really useful for the last kind of year or two, basically. And it has enabled us to open our minds up in regards to just how we approach the world of search and make it very consistent across our brand as well. So we are talking hopefully the same language. So going back to Gray's point around that kind of brand perception and how we're seen as a business. And through that also then looking at your collateral as well, making sure you've got the correct kind of pitch documentation which you can use to back up what you're saying, case studies and all of that, I suppose, side of things from a marketing point of view. So before you know it, there's a lot of time, money, effort spent on that transitionary phase. And I feel, if anything, lesson learned on that was we felt it may have happened a bit quicker. And maybe if we'd had that conversation a year or two earlier, we'd be more advanced than we are. So we're hovering around that kind of 50-60% retained kind of revenues at the moment. So we do still have some key clients who will work with us on a exclusive contingent basis. We do have terms of business, so it is separated to talent teams. So all kind of candidates would come through those terms of business, and there is a methodology around that, and that does work for us with some clients. New people we're hiring. We very naive. We felt we could potentially just hire experienced search consultants who would want to come and join us because we're paying decent salaries, good commission structures. We're nice people, or we believe we are, and we've got some good values, and we hopefully present ourselves in a good way. But without actually having all the infrastructure and everything else in place, that was a very obvious lesson to learn, that actually you need to have good business in the right place to then hopefully attract the right talent. So for us, committing kind of that money through systems, processes, training, we hope to be able to, and we are attracting people who want to go on that journey with us. We're definitely not perfect. We're not the final kind of article. We're still learning, and we actually enjoy learning. We want to always be challenging ourselves and moving to that next kind of stage of our evolution. But people to join us who hopefully buy into that journey and want to get the benefit of what we've learned, go on that journey with us, get the benefit of formal training programs through our external partners. So on that basis, yeah, appreciate I've gone off on a few different kind of angles.